Hey everyone, welcome back to Talk Tickers.
It's great to be back.
Today we're diving deep into LGI Homes' Q3 2024 earnings call.
Looking forward to it.
We've got the transcript,
Yep.
got the stock charts up, and we're going to pull out all the insights
That's right.
that matter for you.
Yeah. And
LGI Homes.
big player.
They're a big player in home building,
Huge.
especially for, first-time home buyers, folks looking to enter the market.
Entry level.
Entry level, exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So they just released their Q3 numbers. Things are interesting.
Interesting is putting it mildly.
Yeah, this is a company operating in a housing market.
That's been anything but predictable lately.
I mean, right.
Totally.
Their performance this quarter really shows that they're not just riding the waves.
Right.
They're surfing.
They are.
Ditto.
They're ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
For sure.
So let's unpack it.
Let's do it.
Let's go beyond just the numbers.
Yeah.
And really trying to figure out what is LGI's strategy in this wild housing market.
I think that's the key here.
Yeah.
Is understanding their strategy.
So first things first, they beat revenue expectations. Brought in $652 million.
That's impressive.
That's their highest since Q2 of 2022.
Wow.
But here's the thing. It's not just about chasing volume for them.
Right.
They're laser focused on profitability,
Absolutely.
which is a really smart move in this environment.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when things are
When things are a little uncertain,
yeah.
you got to make sure you're making money
Exactly.
on every sale.
You can't just be like, we sold a lot of houses.
Exactly. You got to make sure the bottom line is healthy.
Right. And that focus on profitability
Yeah.
is reflected in their average selling price.
Their ASP.
ASP, yeah.
Yeah.
Which hit a record high of over $371,000 this quarter.
That's huge.
Over $371,000.
Especially
That's pretty impressive considering all this talk about.
affordability challenges. Affordability challenges.
Right.
Are they just ignoring the fact that rising interest rates are hitting potential home buyers hard?
I don't think they're ignoring it.
Okay.
But I don't think they're panicking either.
Okay.
They're taking a very strategic approach.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Strategic approach.
So think of it this way. Imagine you're LGI.
Okay.
You're sitting on a pile of valuable land.
Right.
You don't want to just slash prices
Yeah.
and devalue those assets, right?
You got to protect.
You got to protect your margins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So instead of broad price cuts,
Okay.
they're using what they call targeted incentives and financing options.
Targeted incentives, financing options. I like it.
Yeah.
So break that down for our listeners.
Sure.
What do these incentives and financing options actually look like?
So let's say you're a first-time buyer
Okay.
and you're pre-approved for a mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
but those monthly payments are a bit scary
Right.
with interest rates being what they are.
Yeah, they're high.
LGI might offer to help with your closing costs.
Okay.
Or give you a special interest rate through one of their lending partners.
So it's about making those monthly payments
Yeah.
more digestible for those.
Yeah, a little bit easier to swallow.
Entry-level buyers. Yeah.
Exactly. It's all about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where they can attract buyers without compromising their long-term profitability.
Smart.
Yeah, very smart.
Now, speaking of strategy, another thing that jumped out at me was their community growth.
Yeah.
They ended Q3 with 138 active communities.
A lot of communities.
A whopping 30% increase year over year.
That's huge growth.
I mean, they're not just holding steady.
Yep.
They are expanding.
Like crazy.
Like crazy.
Yeah.
And that's a key part of their long-term strategy.
I think so.
Remember, land is a finite resource,
For sure.
and it's becoming more and more expensive to develop.
Absolutely.
So by aggressively expanding their community count now, they're securing their future.
100%.
It's like they're saying, we're playing the long game here, folks.
Long game for sure. And CEO Eric Lipar actually talked about this in the earnings call.
Oh, yeah.
He emphasized the importance of finding that balance between maximizing absorption.
Which is how quickly homes sell in a community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And maintaining healthy profit margins.
Right. You can pack them in and sell them quick,
Yeah.
but if you erode your margins, you're hurting the business in the long run.
Right.
Lipar and his team are thinking ahead.
Okay, so they're performing well. They're expanding strategically. But what about this elephant in the room, this affordability crisis everyone's talking about? I mean, they can't just ignore it, right?
And they're not ignoring it. Lipar actually dropped a pretty sobering statistic
Okay,
during the call.
let's hear it.
He estimates that buyers with combined incomes between $60,000 and $100,000
Okay.
have basically been priced out of the market right now.
Wow, there's a huge chunk
It's
of
huge.
potential home buyers.
Yeah.
I mean, that speaks to the reality of what happens when you combine rising interest rates
Yep.
with rising home prices.
Absolutely.
This segment of the market just can't qualify for mortgages
Like they used to.
like they used to.
Yep.
So where does that leave LGI?
That's a good question.
Are they worried?
I think they're being cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic.
Which is interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what's making them optimistic?
Well, they're still projecting continued community count growth,
Okay.
somewhere between 10 and 20% in 2025.
Wow.
Plus, they're banking on long-term demand staying strong
Okay.
because of things like new households forming
Right.
and the fact that there aren't a lot of existing homes for sale right now.
So no matter what, people need places to live.
People need places to live.
It's basic economics.
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
Yeah.
And Lipar specifically highlighted the experience of his team as a reason for their confidence.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, they've been through housing market
ups and downs
before.
They've seen it all.
They know how to navigate choppy waters.
They know how to ride the waves.
Okay, that's reassuring to hear.
It is a little bit of a comfort.
Now, before we get into the really fun stuff,
Ooh,
the stock performance
all right.
and our totally irresponsible trade idea.
My favorite.
There's one more thing from the transcript I wanted to touch on.
Okay.
They briefly mentioned their wholesale business, which contributed just over 9%
Okay.
of their total closings this quarter.
So they're not just selling directly to individual buyers.
Right. They also sell homes in bulk to other companies.
Institutional investors.
Investors, yeah. So that diversifies their revenue stream,
Absolutely.
which is probably a good thing.
Especially in a market like this.
In a market like this,
Yeah, it gives them a little bit of insulation from the ups and downs.
smart move. Okay, now for the fun part.
All right.
How did the market react to all of this?
Well, investors seem to like what they're hearing.
Okay.
LGIH stock closed up over 7% after the earnings release.
Wow. Over 7%.
That's a pretty big jump.
Especially considering how jittery the market's been lately.
For sure.
That's significant.
It is significant.
But before we get too excited,
Yeah.
hold on.
Disclaimer time.
Let me grab my disclaimer hat here.
There you go.
We are not offering financial advice.
Nope.
This is all for entertainment and informational purposes only.
Correct.
We are not telling you what to do with your money.
Please don't take this as financial advice.
Do your own research.
Absolutely.
Consult with a financial advisor.
Please.
Don't blame us if you make a bad trade.
Not our fault.
I think that covers it.
I think we're good.
All right, now that that's out of the way,
Yes.
let's have some fun.
It's time for...
It's time for our favorite segment.
This is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice.
All right.
Inspired by LGI's performance and what we learned from this earnings call. What is our totally outrageous but plausible trade idea for today?
Okay, given LGI's focus on the entry-level market and their proven ability to navigate these challenging waters,
Okay.
I think a long-term call option play on LGIH could be an interesting, albeit speculative idea.
Ooh, I like where you're going with this. We're talking about those long-dated options contracts.
The LEAPs.
The late piece, right?
Yes.
The ones that give us more time to see how things play out.
Exactly. We could look at call options on LGIH maybe expiring in a year or two.
Yeah.
And bet that their strategy continues to pay off and their stock price keeps climbing as the market recognizes their ability to thrive even amidst these tricky conditions.
So we're essentially making a long-term wager on LGI's continued success. And we're using LGs to give ourselves more time for that wager to potentially play out.
Precisely. But,
Here comes that disclaimer hat again. This is purely hypothetical, folks.
Purely hypothetical.
There are always risks with any option strategy.
Especially ones as crazy as this.
Especially as crazy as this. We are not suggesting that anyone should actually trade based on our little brainstorming session here.
Agreed. This is all for fun and entertainment. Please don't come crying to us if your LGI LTCPs go sour.
Couldn't agree more now before we let you go.
Yes.
Let's quickly recap the key takeaways from this deep dive into LGI Homes.
All right, here's what we learned. LGI is showing impressive resilience in a really tough housing market. Their focus on affordability, that strategic community expansion, and their commitment to operating efficiently, it's all adding up to some pretty impressive results.
We're not just surviving, they're thriving.
They are thriving.
And that's pretty remarkable given all the headwinds they're facing.
It really is, and it highlights just how important it is to have a clear strategy, a strong team, and the ability to adapt to whatever the market throws at you.
LGI is not panicking.
Nope.
They're not making rash decisions.
No.
They're sticking to their game plan, and it seems to be paying off big time.
And that's a valuable lesson for any investor, whether you're interested in LGI Homes or not.
Couldn't agree more. All right, folks, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into LGI Homes. After a quick break, stay tuned for our final thoughts and some provocative questions to ponder. Sounds good. We'll be right back.
See you soon. Yeah, and it highlights how important it is for a company to really double down on their strengths when times get tough.
Yeah, lean into what's working.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about, these impressive Q3 numbers.
Right.
But what about the future?
Yeah.
What did LGI say about their expectations for the rest of the year and beyond?
Well, they did mention a slight slowdown in sales activity in October, which they're attributing partly to just their rapid growth.
Okay, so growing pains.
For a little bit, yeah.
It takes time to get new hires up to speed.
Yeah, bringing new people on board always comes with a little bit of a learning curve.
Exactly.
New people need time to learn the ropes.
Absorb the company culture, master.
Yeah.
The LGI sales approach.
For sure.
And Lipar also pointed to those higher interest rates.
Yeah.
Continuing to impact affordability.
It's a reality they can't completely escape.
Yeah.
Even with those targeted incentives they're offering.
So they're not immune
Oh, no.
to the broader market forces, even with their savvy strategies.
Exactly.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Despite this slight slowdown,
Mm-hmm.
they're still projecting to close between 6,100 and 6,400 homes for the full year.
Okay.
And get this, they actually raised their gross margin guidance.
Really?
Hold up.
It's interesting.
Back up a sec.
Back up.
Most builders are basically crying about margin pressure right now.
Yeah.
And LGI is upping their forecast.
What's going on here?
What's the secret sauce?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
I mean...
They're now expecting gross margins between 24 and 25%.
Okay.
And adjusted gross margins even higher, between 26 and 27%.
Wow.
It's a bold move.
That signals a lot of confidence.
A lot of confidence.
They're clearly saying, we're not going to sacrifice our margins just to chase higher sales numbers.
Exactly.
And it all comes back to operational efficiency.
Efficiency.
Keeping costs under control.
Mm-hmm.
And they've managed to maintain their pricing power.
They have.
Remember that record high average selling price we talked about?
Can't forget that.
That's a big part of this equation.
Absolutely.
It all fits together.
It does.
They're being strategic with their land acquisitions.
Strategic.
They're not giving in to the temptation to slash prices.
Nope.
And they're laser focused on keeping their operations lean and mean.
Lean and mean.
It's a masterclass in navigating a tricky market.
It really is.
And I think it's a great reminder that sometimes slowing down and focusing on profitability can actually position you to win in the long run.
For sure. Sometimes less is more.
So imagine this. You're a home builder.
Okay.
The market is a bit wobbly.
A little wobbly.
Interest rates are all over the place.
Bouncing around.
And you're still confident enough to raise your margin guidance. That sends a pretty strong signal to investors.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
It tells them that you believe in your strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in your product.
You believe in your team's ability to execute.
And that kind of confidence can be contagious.
Contagious confidence. Love it.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. Financial performance, growth strategy, the affordability challenges, and their outlook for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else we need to hit before we move on to that super secret, totally irresponsible trade idea?
There was one more thing I thought was particularly insightful.
Right.
Lipar talked about their focus on training and developing their employees.
Okay.
He specifically mentioned that their sales reps and managers tend to perform much better in their second year with the company.
So it's not just about acquiring talent.
Nope.
It's about cultivating it.
Cultivating it?
They're making a conscious effort to invest in their people, not just their properties.
That's smart.
And that's a smart move in any industry.
Yeah.
But especially in one as cyclical as housing.
For sure.
When the market inevitably shifts, they'll have a team of seasoned pros.
Ready to go.
Who know how to handle whatever comes their way.
Absolutely.
It's like they're building a solid foundation for long-term success.
Long-term.
They're not just trying to ride out the storm.
Nope.
They're positioning themselves to come out even stronger on the other side.
Love that analogy.
Okay, now for the fun part.
All right.
This is not financial advice segment.
Here we go.
where we throw caution to the wind
Yes.
and let our imaginations run wild,
Let's do it.
inspired by LGI's performance and everything we've learned from this earnings call.
Mm-hmm.
What is our crazy but not entirely impossible trade idea?
Okay.
And remember, folks, this is purely for entertainment purposes only.
Purely for entertainment.
Don't come knocking on our door if this trade blows up in your face.
All right. Disclaimer aside.
Disclaimer aside.
Let's get creative.
Let's get creative.
So given LGI's focus on the entry-level market and their ability to navigate this rocky market,
Yeah.
how about a long-term LG option strategy?
Ooh, LPs. I love it when we talk options.
I know, me too.
So for our listeners who might not be familiar, we're talking about those long-dated options contracts, right? The ones that give us more time to let a trade play out.
That's right.
Okay, so walk me through this.
All right. So we could look at call options on LGIH.
Okay.
Maybe with an expiration day a year or two out.
Okay.
We'd be betting that their strategy continues to deliver results
Right.
and that their stock price climbs even higher as the market recognizes their ability to thrive in these challenging conditions.
So we're essentially making a long-term wager on LGI's continued success.
That's right.
And we're using LTs to give ourselves more time for that wager to potentially pay off.
Precisely.
Okay.
But remember, this is a high-risk, high-reward scenario.
Of course.
Option trading is not for the faint of heart. No.
Definitely not. And I think this is where that disclaimer hat comes back into play.
Disclaimer hat back on.
We are not suggesting that anyone should actually trade based on this conversation.
No, this is just us having fun.
Purely hypothetical thought experiment.
Exactly.
Please consult with a financial advisor
Yes.
before making any investment decisions.
Agreed.
All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way,
Okay.
let's shift gears
Let's do it.
and do a quick recap
Recap time.
of the key takeaways
Key takeaway.
from this deep dive into LGI Homes.
Here's the bottom line. LGI is demonstrating incredible resilience in a really difficult market. Their focus on affordability, that strategic community expansion we talked about, and their commitment to efficiency are all key ingredients in their success story.
They're not just surviving,
Nope.
they're thriving.
They are thriving.
And I think that's what makes this earnings call so fascinating.
It's a great case study.
It really does. And it underscores the fact that even in a challenging market,
Yeah.
there are opportunities to be found.
Opportunities abound.
It's all about having the right strategy,
The right strat.
right team,
The right team.
and the willingness to adapt.
Adapt or die.
LGI is proving that you can not only weather the storm,
Yeah.
but also come out stronger on the other side.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap up this LGI deep dive with some final thoughts. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Talk Tickers. We are wrapping up our LGI Homes deep dive. And
It's been a fascinating one for sure.
I don't know about you, but
A lot of information to unpack.
my head is spinning
Really? I mean, we've
with all these insights.
gone deep into their financials,
Yeah.
their strategy, their outlook.
Analyzed all their moves,
Mhm.
even come up with a crazy trade idea.
That's right. Purely hypothetical, of course, but
Of course, just a little
a
fun.
little fun.
But now it's time to zoom out.
Okay, I like it.
Big picture time.
Big picture, yeah.
We spent a lot of time talking about what LGI is doing. But what does this tell us about the housing market as a whole?
Yeah. What can we learn?
What can we learn from their experience?
From their success. I think their success in this environment tells us a couple things.
Okay.
First, I think it suggests that there's real underlying strength in certain segments of the housing market, particularly that entry-level space.
Makes sense. People still need homes.
People always need homes.
Life goes on even when interest rates are...
Yeah, trying to scare everyone off.
Right.
And that fundamental need for housing,
Yeah.
it's not going away anytime soon.
No, it's not going anywhere.
No.
But LGI's experience also highlights
Yeah.
the very real challenges facing the market right now.
The challenges are real.
Affordability is a major hurdle,
Absolutely.
and these rising interest rates are impacting.
A lot of potential buyers,
Yeah, not just...
not just folks looking at LGI homes.
It's a delicate balancing act.
It is
The demand is there,
mm-hmm.
but the cost of actually buying a home
the cost.
is making it really difficult for many to take the plunge.
To jump in.
Yeah.
To take the leap.
And that's where LGI's strategic approach becomes so interesting.
Yeah.
They're not just building homes.
Oh,
They're really thinking about their buyers' needs,
our buyers' needs.
offering those targeted incentives,
Mm-hmm.
getting creative with financing options.
Yeah.
They're finding ways to make home ownership attainable.
attainable.
even in these challenging
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. I mean, they're not just reacting to the market. They're
Right.
trying to shape it.
That's a powerful position to be in.
Yeah, it is.
And that proactive approach could give them a real advantage
I think so.
down the line, especially if interest rates eventually stabilize or even start to come down.
Yeah. If the winds change a little bit, they're going to be in a really good spot.
So before we sign off,
Okay.
let's leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question to ponder.
I like it.
Something to spark those brain cells and keep the conversation going.
All right, hit me.
How about this? If LGI can achieve these kinds of results
Mm-hmm.
in the current environment,
Yeah.
what does that tell us about their potential
Potential.
when the market inevitably swings back in their favor?
That's a great question.
It's like they're proving their resilience,
Resilience.
resourcefulness now,
Right.
which could lead to even greater success when conditions improve.
For sure. I mean, it speaks volumes about their strategy, their team, their commitment to navigating this, ever-changing market.
Well said. All right, Talk Tickers fans, there you have it.
That's a wrap.
Our deep dive into LGI Homes is officially complete.
We did it.
We unpacked their earnings call, explored their strategic brilliance, even tossed around a totally irresponsible trade idea.
For fun, of course.
All in good fun.
Always.
And as always, a friendly reminder
Yes.
that this is not financial advice.
Please do your own research.
Do your own research.
Talk to a professional.
Consult with a trusted professional and make informed decisions that align with your own financial goals.
Exactly.
But hey, we always love hearing your thoughts.
We do.
So head over to social media,
Let us know what you think.
use the hashtag TalkTickerLGI,
Talk Ticker LGI.
and let's keep this conversation going.
I love it.
It's been a pleasure diving deep with you all.
Thanks.
Until next time,
Yeah.
happy investing.
Happy investing.
Keep those earnings calls coming.
We'll be here.
We'll be here to break them down for you.
Ready to dive in.
Catch you on the next Talk Tickers Deep Dive.
See you later.